What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and today's video I am going to be building my very first 5-inch freestyle quad. So for the past 2 months or so, I've been rocking the Bob 57, the 6-inch quad, and that thing has been amazing. I will never get rid of it. It is so great for cinematic long-range flying, but also you can do some spins and tricks and things like that. But I've been really getting into the idea of freestyle and really doing some freestyle tricks. So I decided to build a drone instead of buying a pre-built one. One, it's a little more cost-effective, and two, I believe you shouldn't be breaking it if you can't build it. And so with freestyle comes a lot of crashing and a lot of broken arms and a lot of broken motors. So I figured this will be the best way for me to really figure out the ins and outs of the drone. And I think it'll be a little fun. I could probably get this done in about a day, but with filming and being thorough and going slow, this is the first drone I've ever built. So I think it'll probably take the course of about a week, but I'm super excited. So without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, so I'm gonna quickly do a run through of all the major parts that we have for this build, and then in the description, I'll put a list and then the price next to it as well. But starting with the motors, I decided to go with the XING E Pros by iFLIGHT. These are 2207 1800 kV motors. Now, if you don't know what kV is, it's essentially constant velocity or RPM. So with smaller 5-inch drones, you need a higher kV number. They need to spin faster in order to keep the drone up. With my 6-inch Bob 57, I think the kV on that is about 1400 or 1500. They don't need to spin as fast. 1750 is about the sweet spot. I hear that's probably the best, but I couldn't find a 1750 in a design that I liked, so picked up the 1800s, and I think these will be perfectly fine. For the camera, I went with the DJI O3 Air unit. I honestly think this is the best FPV camera out there. It is the most expensive. This is probably the most expensive part of this build, but I had to just bite the bullet and go for it. All of my other drones have the O3 Air unit, so binding the goggles and the remote to this will be a breeze across the board. So went with that. As far as the flight controller and the ESC, I went with SpeedyBee F405 version 4. It was between this or the F7, and I'll be honest with you, I couldn't find any major differences. The F7's newer, probably has a few more features, but I also wanted to be a little more cost effective. So went with the 405, and for what I'll be doing, and especially being my first drone, I think this will be perfectly fine. So I will show you what these do in a little bit. And then as far as the drone itself, I decided to go with the Apex DC dead cat frame. And I ordered this off of AliExpress. I know it's probably a little sketchier. The build quality is perfectly fine. The only downside was it took probably a month to get this. So you could probably order this in the state, pay just a little bit more, and you'll get this in like a week or two. But again, I wanted to be as cost effective as I could, so I went with the one off of AliExpress. But like I said, I'll put all those, the list of all the parts in the description, but without further ado, let's get into the build. All right, so we've run into the decision-making part of the build, and I knew this was coming, and I'm pretty sure I have a good game plan of what to do, but we run out of room pretty quick. I'm gonna do a quick rough layout so you can see it, but so essentially what we'll be doing is putting the flight controller in. Now what we'll do is we will connect these 3 motor wires for each one and connect them to each pad here. So I'm gonna run these and solder these to the pads. But the only thing is with the XT60 mount back here, which I'll run and then I'll be plugging in the battery, we also have this capacitor that runs out of room really fast. So this will be sitting connected to this pad here. XT60 will come out, but the only issue is I have the O3 air unit that will be sitting like this. And there just is not a ton of room back here for the capacitor. So what I've seen guys do is flip this around because we have a lot of dead space up here in the front. So once I put the camera in, we have all of this space in the back where I can add the capacitor. And then I think what I'll do is I'll do the XT60 and have it route out the side. And then I'll plug the battery in and having it come out the side. I just think that's gonna be the best option for me here in this situation because there's just no room back here with the air unit on. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I don't want to, and I've seen a couple guys do it, but I think that's the best route. So we'll keep on moving. But first things first is I need to get all of the motor wires soldered to their appropriate pads. So they have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So each motor has 3 wires. It doesn't necessarily matter what order you go in, but I just want to keep everything clean, and I'll do 1, 2, 3 this way. We'll get it on there. So what I think I'll do is I will show you the first motor. I'll show you how to solder that one. This is not a soldering tutorial and I'm not the best at it, so don't look at my soldering like you're gonna learn something. But I'll show you the first one and then I'll do the other 3 off camera. I don't think I need to show you four times, but I will at least show you the first one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run this along the arm and then up to where it's gonna go. I'm gonna kind of almost make a cut with my nail. I like to leave just a little extra room just to be safe. So now when we run this on, that, and then go yep. Okay, and then what we have are these arm guards. So I did already pre-cut some. So essentially what they'll do is it's 3M double-sided sticky tape, so I'll be able to get them stuck down. All right, first things first is I need to tin all 3 of these edges with solder, and then I need to tin these 3 pads here. So I am going to do that. Make sure my soldering iron is hot enough. Well, that was an absolute mess. I'm probably gonna check these solder joints. They are not looking pretty, but they're holding, so I guess that's all that matters. I do need to make sure that none of them are touching at all, because that'll not be good. Doesn't look like they're touching, but I might just go in and clean it up a little bit. All right, so it is the next day. Soldering up these motors actually took me a lot longer than I had anticipated, and they are not the prettiest solder joints in the world, but I think it'll do. Now, I know that the flight controller is upside down, because if this is the front, it should be the other way. And you might be wondering, like, will that mess it up when I go into beta flight, and you know, is it gonna fly backwards? But no, when you go into beta flight, you can just reverse everything and turn it around. So don't worry about that. But yeah, hard part's over. The rest is pretty simple. I just need to get the camera mounted up. I need to get the ESC on, figure out which way I want to put that. And then just put all the little basics on and then start it up. But so we're just gonna keep plugging away, and I will, actually, you know what? I do think I need to get this on before I move any further. I need to get the XT60 plug and the capacitor on. Get that soldering out of the way, be done with that, and then we'll move on to the rest. Have one side that I can plug the flight controller in, but I also have the other side where the O3 air unit needs to plug in. So what I have to do is plug the O3 in on this side, which means I have to run this one down under to plug into this side. So I'm gonna make sure that there's no tension between any of these wires here. And then this one I'll just twist, and that won't be a problem. Before I get this air unit stuck in place, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this antenna out of its housing here. That way I can put it into the 3D printed piece that they gave me. So I'm gonna get this taken apart really quick. So, got the antenna out. What we'll do is we'll feed it through here. Only a tight fit. As long as you do one at a time, you'll be good. And then we'll get it back in its housing here. And actually, you know what? While I'm here, I might take this top part off and see if I can get this routed underneath the flight controller. So while I'm here, why not? Okay. So I think I successfully So I ran the O3 air unit, the wire underneath, and I connected it back here. So I think that'll work. So now I will say, with the O3 Air unit and the TPU, the 3D printed pieces that come with this, the screws that came inside of the head of the camera aren't long enough to go through here. So what I'm gonna have to do is, I have other screws, a little bit longer, but they're a little too long. So what I'll do is I'll get these washers, and I think, at least for the meantime, that will that'll help. But so just a heads up. So I'm just gonna get the top two in for now, just to hold it. I'll do the other ones later. So it looks like I have plenty of wiggle room. Nothing's getting pulled and too much tension. So that's a great sign. Press and hold that down. I'm gonna get everything plugged into the ESC here. Let's see. So I need to go under. So scratch this. This is only if you don't do the double-sided sticky tape, which I did, so that will hold it on perfectly fine. What I am gonna do is protect these wires a little bit. I am gonna put on some electrical tape. I think that's it. Now the next thing is gonna be to plug it in and hope it works. All right, so basically we are done with the drone, hopefully. So before I get everything taped up and put the top plate on, I'm gonna make sure that it even works. So what I have here is a smoke stopper. So essentially what you do is, when you plug the battery in first, you wanna use one of these. That way, if there's anything that's wrong connection-wise, this will short out and you won't destroy your components. So, moment of truth, I am extremely nervous. So green is on, and we want 1 amps going through. Okay, let's see if this works. It works. That's good. That sound that you're hearing is the motors, surprisingly enough. So now I can kind of start to get everything where it's supposed to be, and then we'll get it into beta flight, get the tune, and then this thing's ready to rip. So I'm excited. Let's finish this up and then let's get it into beta flight. All right, what's up you guys? So I'm filming this a couple days later. I had finished the drone, got it into beta flight, and then I was out of town for a couple days for work, but I just wanted to make a quick outro, show you the drone all set up, running the GoPro 11. I'll probably be running the GoPro 8 just because it's freestyle and I'm gonna be crashing a lot, so don't want to destroy my nice GoPro. But yeah, if you made it to this part of the video, I just want to say thank you. It means a lot that you guys stuck around and watched. Hopefully you learned something. I certainly did. Super excited. I'm going to be making another video separate from this one. That'll be the first test flight of the drone, so be on the lookout for that. But yeah, I appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next video.